Okay, number 18. It asks you to identify the parent function. So when I look at this equation, the parent function is going to be the square root of x. So I'm going to say my parent function is f of x is equal to the square root of x. Then my transformations, and it asks me the graph. So over here you can see the graph. The parent function is in blue. The new function, this g of x, is in red. My transformations, I have this 3 outside. That's going to be a vertical because it's outside of the parenthesis or not with the x. It's going to be a vertical stretch of 3. This negative sign inside the radical with the x, as you can see, reflects that function over the y-axis. And then finally, this plus 2 takes the graph from here and moves it up. So I'm going to say it moves it up 2 units. My domain, remember, domain is your x values. When I look at here, my x value, it goes this way. So my lowest one is going to be negative infinity. And then it looks like I stop at 0. So I'm going to say 0. Put a bracket at the 0 because I do include that 0. The infinity always has a parenthesis. My range is my y values. And then when I look at here, my lowest y value is 2. And then it continues to go to positive infinity without n. So I'm going to say positive infinity parenthesis with that. Doing number 18, I'm looking at the graph. My parent function, I'm going to say, is f of x is equal to the cubed root of x. The parent function is blue. The new function, this h of x, is sketched in red. When I look at this, I can see that it reflects over, it's hard to tell, but from this negative sign on the outside, I see that it reflects over the x-axis. And then this plus 1 moves it 1 unit to the left. Remember, when it's inside the parenthesis or inside the radical at the x, it's opposite of what you think. My domain is my x values. Well, again, it looks like it goes both left and right without n. So I'm going to say negative infinity to positive infinity. My range is my y values. Again, it looks like it's going up and down without n. So I'm going to say negative infinity to positive infinity. Doing number 19. I'm looking at this graph and I decide my parent function is going to be f of x is equal to the square root of x. My transformations, I'm going to have this minus 1, which means it's going to go down 1 unit. And then this 3 is inside the radical with the x, so it's a horizontal. Remember, horizontal is opposite of what you think. So instead of multiplying by 3, I'm going to think of 1/3. So since that 1/3 is less than 1, I'm going to say a horizontal compression of 1/3. My domain is my x values. Looks like my lowest x value for the red graph will be 0. And then it will go to positive infinity. My range looks like the lowest y value will be that -1. And then to positive infinity. So that's my domain and range. Doing the next number 19, I have the graph and I decide that my parent function is f of x is equal to the cubed root of x. My transformations, this 1/5 is outside, so it's vertical. It's exactly what I see, so I'm going to say a vertical compression of 1/5. Then this minus 4 inside the radical with the x opposite of what I think, so it's going to move the graph right 4 units. My domain, as I can see from left to right, I'm going to go from negative infinity to positive infinity. My range is also going to be from negative infinity to positive infinity. Moving on to the next one.